Also joined by the Conservative MP Owen Paterson. Thank you for being with us. We're talking about the status of EU citizens and British citizens in the EU, and the fact of the matter is they are now hanging in the balance, aren't they?
Absolutely not. There isn't a single member of the House of Commons that wouldn't want to do a deal on both EU citizens and UK citizens today. No, because that would be abandoning large numbers of UK citizens.
So they are.
And we know perfectly well the Prime Minister made it completely clear repeatedly that she would do a deal, and she's been held back by a couple of member states that wants to trigger Article 50. So the one thing that was stopping resolving this problem, which David Davis said will be an absolute priority in negotiations, is triggering Article 50. That's brilliant. We got that out of the way. We can sort this as an absolute priority.
So we hadn't triggered Article 50 when we thought we were going to be today.
No, look, the Article 50 is going to be triggered. Apparently we're going to get royal assent today, apparently, which I've just seen on Twitter. So that is brilliant. That is the one thing holding back serious negotiation with those two recalcitrant member states who are holding back on EU citizens.
But what Owen is overlooking, of course, is that we have caused this problem. It isn't the other EU countries, and therefore I think it's incumbent on us to take the unilateral action. And of course it would be very strange if the other EU states didn't respond positively if we did take that unilateral action, because of course there are far more EU citizens in the UK than there are UK citizens in other EU countries. And incidentally, of course, the UK citizens in other EU countries have actually asked the government to clarify the position of EU citizens in the UK.
Well, I think it's a two-way street, Tom, at the end of the day. But I think, Owen, you know, and that actually it's in our interest to sort this out. We all know there's going to have to be a deal struck on EU nationals and Brits living in other parts of the EU, and also there's a massive process to register people. And actually, by delaying that, there's a danger that more EU nationals will come in trying to get under the wire before that process starts. And that's a big job, Owen. So it's better that she comes out.
I asked David this, got it on the record in the Commons. He said a month ago, this is an absolute priority for the government in negotiations.
Would be possible. Why not make a unilateral gesture?
Because it's a deal which involves millions of our citizens who might want to reside in Europe, and they are very much part of what we should be legislating.
The moral high ground.
Do you seriously think?
What you're saying is you don't trust the Europeans to
and you're using them as a bargaining chip.
No, we're not.
Well, you are, because
we know
otherwise
perfectly well. Chancellor Merkel has said you cannot start negotiating to trigger Article 50. So all this faffing around you've been on last night, Tom, in the law, messing about, delaying.
But do you seriously think that actually they're going to sort of bash us over the head if we say a positive statement about what we're going to do about EU nationals? I really don't believe that's the case. There will have to be a deal done on that.
How much more positive has the Prime Minister been saying it is a priority for her?
Well, all right.
Let me finish. David Davis said it's a clear priority in his negotiations.
How many months?
We have made it completely clear. The quicker we get Article 50 moving, start negotiations, we can get this very sensitive issue sorted.
Mrs May is due to write a letter telling what the trigger of Article 50 means. That's what she's got to do. Should she include in that letter a statement, by the way, we will guarantee the status of EU citizens in this country?
Well, I think there will be obviously a list of issues to be negotiated, and there will have to be a priority.
I understand that, but should she include that?
David Davis said quite clearly, yes, it should be a priority.
Should be in the letter. Should be in the letter.
Whether it's the letter or not, there's going to be.
Why don't you say it
could indicate if it was in the letter?
What does priority mean?
I'm not sure the diplomatic niceties is what actually goes to the letter, and that's semantics. What is important is that David Davis said very clearly, again last night, repeated what he told me a month ago.
I think we need
this is a priority.
The diplomatic niceties and recognise that 3 million people affected by it.
Sturgeon. I mean, we all know that Scots men and women with a grievance are apocryphal, but they have got legitimate grievance, haven't they? That they were told during the referendum campaign that if they voted for the Union, then they would protect their status within the European Union and within the single market. Now, having voted to stay in the Union and indeed voted to stay in the European Union, they're being ripped out of it against their will.
Well, they don't know what the deal's going to be. I mean, I'm very, very positive that there are tremendous opportunities for things like fishing in Scotland, the whisky industry in Scotland. When I was doing DEFRA, there are huge opportunities around the world if we could do trade deals with countries like India on whisky, which affect tens of thousands of Scots. So I think it'd be much wiser if the Scots waited to see what the deal was and were led along by the nationalists' obsession with the referendum, ignoring the nationalists' failure on education, on health, on police reform, which is not helping citizens every day in Scotland.
And ignoring the fact that, of course, this was going to be once in a generation. I don't know how long a generation lasts in Scotland, but a couple of years later doesn't sound like the right length of time to me.
As I'll get into that, thank you all very much indeed.